He didn't cry at the funeral, not when the doctor said your son may never speak, not even when he buried the only woman who ever really saw him. But that afternoon, stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic outside of Bozeman, Montana, Ty pulled halfway down his chest. His 7-year-old screaming in the back seat, Jasper Keene came the closest he'd ever come to breaking. His knuckles turned white around the steering wheel. Not out of anger, no, Jasper hadn't been angry in years. Just exhausted, bone deep, like someone who'd been holding up a world that didn't want to be held anymore. "Please, Eli," he whispered, voice cracking. "Buddy, please." But his son couldn't hear him or wouldn't. His body thrashed in the back seat, fists balled up, head tossed back, guttural sobs echoing off the windows. Jasper clenched his jaw, blinked hard and yanked the car off the road into the parking lot of a place he didn't even see until the last second. No time for Yelp, no time for reviews, just a break. They both needed a break. The neon sign above the door read Rosie's Grub Stop. Paint-peeling windows foggy, the kind of place where the bacon grease is older than the waitress. But Jasper didn't care. He killed the engine, turned around and looked at his boy, face-flushed tears streaking his cheeks, chest heaving. "I'm trying, kid," he whispered. "I swear I'm trying." He unbuckled Eli, who squirmed and kicked the whole way to the door. Jasper hauled him inside like a firefighter carrying his last rescue. A bell jingled as they entered. Heads turned, a fork dropped. Someone muttered. Jasper didn't even look. He found a booth in the far corner away from the windows and set Eli down. The boy rocked rhythmically, slapping his knees with his palms, a sharp, repetitive sound that cut through the diner's chatter like a knife. Jasper dropped into the seat across from him, ran both hands down his face and whispered, "I don't know how to help you anymore." No answer. Not from Eli, not from God, not from the investors waiting for Jasper back in Silicon Valley, who didn't give a damn about his son, his grief, or the mess of a man he was becoming. He pulled a spoon and a container of applesauce from the diaper bag, peeled the foil. "Your favourite, right?" he said softly. Just a bite. Nothing. Eli didn't flinch, didn't look, just kept rocking. Jasper's hand trembled. The spoon clattered to the table. He pressed his palms against his forehead and breathed, "I can't do this." And that's when she showed up. Soft footsteps. No rush. No pity. Just presence. "Mind if I clean this up for you?" came a calm, even voice. He looked up tired, bracing for judgment, and saw her. Young, maybe mid-20s. Brown skin, short curls, tucked under a navy bandana. Her name tag read, A. Rhodes. "Yeah," Jasper muttered. "Sorry about the mess." She wiped the applesauce, gently crouched down and looked Eli in the eye, not like he was broken, like he was speaking a language she understood. "What's his name?" she asked. "Eli. He's 7, she guessed, smiling softly. "You like applesauce, huh?" Jasper watched, confused. She wasn't being polite. She was trying. "May I?" she asked. He blinked. "May you try feeding him?" Every muscle in him screamed, "No, no, it won't work. No," he'll scream. "No, you don't get it." But something in her eyes, steady calm, made him nod. She slid into the booth, sat at a slight angle, non-threatening. She hummed a soft, tuneless lullaby as she picked up the spoon and waited. And then Eli's eyes lifted, just slightly. First at the spoon, then at her, and he opened his mouth. She fed him. No fuss, no fight, just peace. Jasper's throat closed up. "I haven't seen him eat in public in over a year," he whispered. She smiled. "I'm Amber. How did you know to do that?" She didn't take her eyes off Eli. "My brother's the same. Nonverbal. 11. You learn the signs before you even learn the alphabet." And right then something shifted. Jasper didn't know if he wanted to cry or hire her on the spot. "You ever work with kids professionally?" he asked. "Nope. Just life experience. You want a job?" She looked up slowly. "Doing what I have a foundation. For kids like Eli. But I'm just throwing money at it. I need someone who knows what the hell they're doing." "You don't know me," she said. I know you just did something I haven't been able to do in months. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. 3 days later, Amber walked into his office in San Francisco. Not in heels, not with a resume, just stories. Real stories. Of tantrums in grocery stores. Of nights spent singing until her brother calmed. Of judgmental stares and silent victories. The foundation staff full of therapists, specialists, PhDs sat up straighter when she spoke. Because when she spoke, it wasn't theory, it was survival. Jasper watched the change happen in real time. Board members doubted her at first. This isn't protocol, they said. She doesn't have the credentials. Amber replied, "You don't need a doctorate to know what it feels like to be stared at while your brother screams in a gas station bathroom." Silence. She wasn't burning the system down. She was building something new next to it. And at home, Eli changed. Small things. He slept. Sometimes. He reached for a fork. He leaned into Jasper's chest just once, but long enough for Jasper to feel it. Then came the day that wrecked him in the best way. He walked into Amber's office. She was cross-legged on the couch, hoodie up typing, and he said, "You're making me look bad, you know." She didn't look up. "You were already losing." They laughed. He sat beside her quieter now. "I think about you more than I should." She didn't flinch. "I think about you too." But they didn't kiss. They didn't rush it. Because they were two people with scars, with responsibilities, with real lives. Still, something was growing. Then, the moment. Eli ran into the room. No shoes, holding a toy plane. He stopped, looked up at Amber and said, "Hi, just one word." Jasper dropped his coffee. Amber froze. Jasper whispered, "Say it again." Eli didn't, but he didn't need to. He walked over and handed the plane to Amber. She held it like it was the most fragile thing in the world. "That's the first time he's ever spoken," Jasper said, tears brimming. Amber nodded. "He sees us." Jasper broke. The guilt, the grief, the pretending, it all cracked. And when he wept, she didn't say anything. Just placed a hand over his chest and whispered, "You don't have to do it alone anymore." 2 weeks later, she left for a visit back home. Just a few days, and Jasper fell apart. The office worked fine. Eli was okay, but something was missing. He couldn't explain it. Until she came back, walked into his office, dropped a paper bag on his desk. Inside, a single Spider-Man sock. "Malcolm wore it," she said. "First time, no screaming." He smiled. "That's a big deal." "It is," she said, arms folded. "You okay?" "No," he said. "Honest." He stood. "I've spent my whole life building things, companies, platforms, teams. Because I thought if I could control everything, then maybe the chaos wouldn't win. But I can't control grief. Or Eli, or you deciding this isn't your place." She stepped closer. "You think I'm leaving? I wouldn't blame you." She reached into her pocket, pulled out a crayon drawing. 3 stick figures, a tall man, a small boy, a woman with curly hair. "Eli drew this yesterday," she said. "No one told him to." Jasper stared. "He sees us," she said again, "as a family." And that was it. No fairy tale ending, no wedding bells, just trust. Real. Earned. They didn't need labels, they just needed each other. Life rarely shows up the way we want, but sometimes someone walks in at the exact moment you're about to fall and they hand you a spoonful of applesauce. Small things change lives. So now I'll ask you, have you ever misjudged someone? Have you ever been misjudged? Drop a comment and tell me, who was your Amber Rhodes, let's say, or better yet, who have you shown up for when no one else would?